All right, so we are talking about executive summary, contract signing, and post CA. So I'm going to refer back to this chart. So right now we're going to talk right here, executive summary, contract prep, construction agreement. So we talked about the binder a little bit on Monday, I believe. So just to jog everyone's memory, after the trade walk, we're collecting all the quotes back. Denny's putting together the estimate with all the information we're getting back, checking for accuracy, all that good stuff. We put a binder together for the salesperson to review, and that is going to become our executive summary.
Okay.
In terms of like the estimate. And then, so that's where we'll start. So for the executive summary, I am using this one as an example, Hagopian. So just so this is a completed one.
And this was what the salesman filled out?
Say that again?
The salesman filled this out?
So getting there.
Sorry.
You know what questions to ask, which is great. So the executive summary is initially put together by the lead designer. And what the purpose of this document is to document all the changes from the previous price they got. So we actually read it from bottom to top. So on this one, you'll see there was a design agreement.
I'll plug in.
Grab it so we can all see it. Walk us through the whole process here.
I gotta figure a way to plug my thing in without me have to crawl underneath the desk here.
Let's make sure you were done. I'll be back again.
I must have a reputation now that after being late for that one meeting.
No.
Yeah.
I haven't had time to come check on myself. Been crazy.
Okay.
Sorry, Peter.
Oh, you're fine. I'm just plugging the computer in.
Who's that? Who just stepped in the room?
I'll wait till Keith is done so you can see what we're going through here.
Couldn't tell you.
All right.
Whenever you're available.
Get ready to.
Get you a plug strip up there.
Yeah, I
I
need.
didn't say that. I got one up here for me.
Can you plug this in over here for me? Thank you.
Yeah, it's Paul. Is he trying to get a headset?
I got her off going over my phone here.
Okay. Oh, great. Thank you. Sorry, just logistics here.
No worries. So if you go to the bottom of our executive summary, it says signed DA ballpark price. And
Okay.
they put this here, and they got that from this document, which is our design agreement.
Okay.
So they just copied this over.
Okay.
So this is our original design agreement. These are all
And all the
things-
content too has come from the design agreement?
almost. So this was the original scope of work that they signed off on. And we told them it would be this much, right?
Okay.
What this
Mhm.
document is doing is tracking changes. So we also had a design phase 2. So after our design agreement, they got another price. So it went from, close to 200,000. And they've had a couple design meetings, so their scope is being finalized, closer to being finalized. So now we have a smaller range of 165 to 175, and they put updated plans and design here.
Okay,
Does it make sense? Like there were changes between these two prices, which is why the price is changing. And then if you scroll up, we had another meeting with them and said, I know at the last meeting, we said it was gonna be 165 to 175. Now we're telling you it's gonna be this much. These are all the things that have changed. That's why the price has gone up.
Okay.
So we added some windows that weren't originally in there. We added an exterior door that wasn't originally there. We finalized some things. We updated some allowances. We're just walking them through the whole story of what's happened up to this point. After that meeting, we had another meeting where it looks like they had us, we removed some things. Maybe they weren't like super happy about this price. They wanted to remove some things, or, we got some finalized information for the trades. So again, just updating them with the total amount. You keep scrolling up. We met one more time. So we also will present options. So these are currently not included in the pricing that we gave them. So if they want to
Okay.
add things in or take things out, this is
what's the
the
green?
time.
for?
So at
What's
this
the green for?
meeting, at this meeting, the salesperson highlighted in green which ones the clients wanted to add in.
Okay,
So what we did is the next updated number we gave them, we added those things in green right here. So those are
Okay.
the G. So that's the purpose of this document, is to track all those changes. Because, we're saying it's 177 now, the final contract amount. They're gonna want to know how it went from this to that. So it's just to track everything.
I like this. This is really good. Wow. Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, it is a good thing. And then we'll also, this is what I think the contract ended up being at the end of all these discussions.
Mhm.
And we left here all the like a couple options that maybe they were still interested in or whatever. Just so it's clear that these things are still not included.
Good, good.
And if they want to talk about it, during construction, that's still an option, but right now it's not included. So
Okay.
that's a nice document. So kind of the roles here for this document is the lead designer will put like this original. So this is like a working document, right? So like the lead designer will put the original together, which will generally look like this. So after the design agreement and the design phase 2, we'll have an executive summary meeting with this. So they'll put all this in here. And during our binder turnovers, we include this with the package that Denny gets, so he knows what to update in the estimate. So Denny gets this piece of paper and he goes, all right, let me open up my estimate. I need to add some windows in. I need to add money for this door, or the trade quote for this door, or a material quote for this door. We already updated the carpet allowance at one of our binder review meetings. So this is like Denny's checklist basically for updating the estimate. And then Denny will actually put this number in here once everything's all said and done. Denny will also put the numbers in for the options once he estimates them. The lead designers will also type in the options as well. And after that first executive summary meeting, the PD kind of takes over in a sense of, so Andrew told, this is Andrew's way of telling me that they want to add in these 3 things. So At this point, I don't necessarily need Denny. I don't need to bother Denny. I can just go and put these in myself on ProS because I've been trained on that. And then I can move it. So I took it out of this section and I moved it up here because now it's included. So it's just reformatting a little bit.
Yeah,
Does it make sense?
with this client, you definitely need that here.
So,
he's,
yeah, so as a
Oh.
PD, I would just, all the changes after executive summary, I would, move it up here. So it's more current. And then update this amount with the ProS number after you like updated all the pricing. So, and then the other part of what we do is put the contract together. So there's a template for this contract, but we would,
Who writes the contract? Is that something that between you get from Denny's RFP scope or?
so presently the way it works is there's a template and the project developer would, we would delete the things that don't apply, like the template. We would, update this, like we would grab things from trade quotes. So let me find the example. Like this is straight out of a trade quote. So the trade that we put in the estimate, I just copied this right out of their trade quote.
Well, let me ask you this question here. I'm concerned about that. Is it may not be what Denny's got on his RFP, what needs to be done.
During the binder turnover, the binder review, all that, Denny is checking the trade quotes for accuracy prior to putting it into the estimate.
And the wording might not be exact, from what I'm telling them needs to be done to how they write their estimate, but it's all, I mean, when you read it, if it's the same thing or not.
Okay, because I mean, you might have to reformat the way it sounds because with a sub, it's not going to be something professional as what we would write. So
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
yeah, so
we're
definitely-
wordsmithing it
definitely.
and everything. Okay,
Yeah,
I just want to make
definitely.
sure.
It's kind of more of like, for instance, like for this section here, this is part of the template. And I just look at the estimate and see, okay, I see there's 2 buys in there. So I'm going to leave that in there. So it's a lot of cross-checking between the trade quotes, the estimate, the selection sheet in order to come up with this document.
The question, Debbie, why I'm saying 3/4 ton group, are we specking like certain type of tongue and groove decking board, like a Vantech or anything like that?
No,
So
Not at
that's just for the contract. Part of the contract is the selection sheet.
Okay.
So we'll print this and include it in the contract. So anything that's in the selection sheet, that's what's in the estimate, which is in the contract. So we make it a whole package. So if something is spec'd, that's not a good example, but
You typically, I guess this goes back to something I'm used to, like a Vantech, but versus plywood, it's got a greater nail strength, and also too, it's great in the weather. You got, open up and you got water and you got rain. It's a lot better for that type of thing. I didn't know if y'all get down to the weeds, because that kind of thing is important to me, is knowing what we're using on that, because not just throwing out something to the vendor. They provide you just regular tongue groove plywood. So
you'd have to ask that question to Mark.
okay,
That's something that they already got pre-set up, unless it's otherwise specified. They got pre-set up standards that go to the suppliers.
okay, well, yeah, I need to drill down into that and find that out. Thank you, Denny.
And on this contract here that you're looking at, for example, where it states, 7/16 thick plywood, all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Andrew wants all that kind of stuff removed from the contract. He doesn't want to specify 2x4 studding, 2x6 studding. He just wants to
No.
stay studding the wall per the drawings.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, so to finish answering your question, right now, we're not taking out of Denny's RFP, but it's in the works to where the RFPs would become the contract.
Right.
That's what I thought, yeah. Okay,
Um,
good, thank you.
no problem. One of the last things the PD will do is put together the draw schedule, which is this page here.
Mhm.
So we have our total amount here. And then at contract signing, we take about 25% of the total. But if they've signed a letter of intent, which these people did, they've already paid a deposit and we would just subtract it out of that first draw. So for this client, they had already paid 17,000, so they only owed 27,400 the day of contract signing.
Okay, that makes sense. And I guess it'll be different too, once we got a draw schedule for a bank.
Yeah, so like this, for instance, this client, they didn't go through a bank, so this is their draw schedule.
Right. Good.
So they would, if they were doing a lending contract, they would sign this, but then we would do a change order for a revised draw schedule, and we'd go
Okay.
by that one. So yeah, and then we leave about 5% for substantial completion. And we divide the rest of the 70% between the amount of draws there are.
I want to ask a little, I know it sounds, it's maybe a little picky, but why don't we put the exact balance due at substantial completion?
We used to do that. They stopped doing that before I became a project developer. I don't know the exact reasoning, but I think it's because if we had additional work orders that were being tagged to that, I think people were being maybe a little legalistic and saying my contract says I only owe this much.
Okay. I was just curious about that. I ask a lot of these type of questions. I'm sorry.
No, that's what training's for. For job start, we'll put what's on the pulse. And we put like a range just in case anything moves a week or two. So December to January. This one we started in January. And then job duration. This is calculated. I can show you how it's calculated, but it's based on volume. So SDB systems, fast track, and there's this calculating the duration of a project on a contract spreadsheet.
Uh-huh. And you're doing it on value of the project for the time?
So they like to, there's volume per week they aim for. So this one is between 100 and 200,000. You would put the contract price right there, and then it calculates 15 to 19 weeks is what they want to.
All right, have we gone back and looked at actuals and see how accurate this is?
That is a great question for Salima, Mark, and Andrew. That was above my pay grade, Keith.
Okay. All right,
I just do the things.
I'm gonna guess Mark did, knowing him.
Yeah, I know, because I've got a kitchen we just did a pre-con on today, and it's 15 to 19 weeks plus some flooring. I just thought was pretty long duration for a
For a
pretty
kitchen.
simple kitchen.
You're talking about Aaronsmeyer, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, the kitchen should only take 10 weeks, from 10 to 12 at the most. At
Weeks
the most, weeks.
for that job? You got all the equipment there. If he can't knock that job out in 2 weeks, he's doing something wrong.
No, you can't do a kitchen in 2 weeks.
Yes, you
The-
can.
The cabins will be here on 124. We've been doing all the first floor.
I know Ariel's about to get upset.
Class,
after the discussion,
Class,
but
we're recording.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, all good. Let's stay on track here.
All right, sorry.
all good. But yeah, that's a great question. Mark and Andrew would have the question. I just do the things. I don't know how they calculate it, to be honest. But that's a spreadsheet we use currently. So that's our contract. You see we have digital signatures. So depending on the client, the project developers are in charge of either, if the meeting is in person, printing all the documents for our salesperson. So that would be the contract, the selection sheet, and the drawings. Obviously we get the drawings from the lead designer. So that's our package. So if it's in person, we need to print it. If it's a digital upload, which sometimes happens if it's like a pretty I think for Hagopian, we uploaded it because they had done most of their talking at that executive summary meeting. They didn't need another meeting. So they just signed
Okay.
it, asked a couple questions over co-construct, and then we were good to go. If you scroll down, there's
Oh.
general conditions. Sorry, I should have done this first.
Okay.
See, we attached our selection sheet as part of the PDF. This is a printout of the selection sheet at that point. And then we also attached the drawings. And so I would send it out as you would do request e-signatures.
Yep. On that form.
And yep, we would send it to the client and the salesperson so that they can both sign off. And then once they sign off, we get this comes back to me because I'm the one who sent it out. And it also goes to, I believe there's a forwarder for it to go to Kay for the admin department to process it as a signed contract. And they have their own thing that they do. After a construction agreement is signed, one of the things we do is, as the project developers, is we send out the final estimate to the accounting department. So Denny has it saved here.
Okay.
Denny would have it saved, and then we would send it to Beth in the accounting department. And then after that, that starts a whole new process of booking the field trip and production packets, booking the pre-construction meeting. All the prep work for those meetings is all in the project developer. Signing off on material, like ordering materials, signing off on trade quotes, that's all post-CA tasks. Making sure the permits are approved, which we talk about that in the design meeting. And then getting ready for job start. Any questions?
I do. Are we still taping?
We can still record if you have questions about this.
No, I have quite questions about a job that's related to this.
Go ahead, it's fine.
The St. Andrews job that was getting ready to have Friday, the production, what do you call it, the binder meeting or
Production packet.
production, the PP meeting. Since you're leaving, your last day's Friday, or is Rudy gonna be in on that one too?
Rudy, that's actually his project, so he's leading that meeting himself. For St. Andrews.
I can't hear you.
Ryan.
What's that? I'm sorry, I'm having a problem with Wi-Fi.
Rudy's actually the project developer on that project, so he will be leading that meeting.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Got some updates on that one after our field trip, or after our visit today, Rudy.
Sounds good. We could go over 'em once we get off this meeting. Not a problem.
Yeah, sure.
Feeling a little self-conscious because it was supposed to be an hour and a half, but I just ran through everything. Is there anything I missed, Denny and Rudy?
Nothing that I can think of.
Pretty easy.
It's a lot of things to keep track of once it begins. Obviously, with like once the contract's signed, you want to order long lead materials sooner. Sometimes with the LOI, you will have already ordered some of those long lead time items, cabinets, windows, all that stuff.
Yeah, when you do a LO, what? Well, you letter of intent, you're saying.
Letter of intent, sorry.
What, you acronyms here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Keep asking, because we will all do it to you.
We'll start calling you AM.
That's me.
That's right. Okay, so yeah, long lead time items, cabinets, and what, yeah, because we're probably with Wellborn, what, 8 to 12 weeks or? No,
At one point, it was 22 weeks. I don't know.
I know, I had, when I was at Golden Rule, we used Wellborn, and I had a job that it took 20 some weeks to get them to. That was not a good, happy client.
Oh my gosh.
No, so I know that very well.
All
Okay,
right. Well, if you don't have any questions, that's really it.
well, I'm gonna
for
go through all
today's-
these things, putting the pieces together, then I'll, like tomorrow, we'll have questions and answer the questions and answers or whatever, Q&A, and I'll be able to present those to you then too. Okay.
Sounds good.